Welcome back to Seriously Sandra, where we talk books and the fabulous authors who have created them. Today, I am beyond excited to chat with Jami Albright. Oh my gosh, wait till you hear from her. She's normally known for her fun rom-coms, and today she's delving into upmarket women's fiction, and boy, is it going to be a treat. So, grab your favorite coffee, your favorite drink, get snuggled in as we get ready to hear all the ins and outs from Jami. Welcome, Jami.
Thank you. Thank you. What an intro. Thanks so much.
You are quite welcome. Oh my gosh, I had the chance to get to know you in an author group that we belong
Mhm.
to together. And
Yep.
it's really just been fun hearing from you every day. And let me just tell you all, she just imparts pearls of wisdom. Not only does she impart pearls of wisdom, she just makes us laugh on a daily basis. We were joking that it became thing on budgets and money, and she just decided to throw in bunions and
Budget's,
bunions, and it turned the conversation. All
yeah.
right, so for those who don't know you, who are you, Jami?
Well, I am a born and raised Texan. I did not start writing. I never wrote a word of fiction until I was 50 years old. And
And you're 51 now.
yeah, so it's only been a year. No.
Yeah.
And I decided I wanted to write my reading buddy a book for her birthday because I never wrote fiction because I have terrible grammar. And I thought Jennifer doesn't care if I have bad grammar. She'll think it's funny and she'll take it in the spirit it was given. And I quickly wrote myself in a corner with that book, but it wasn't all bad. And she was like, when I told her what I was going to do, but wasn't going to do now, she was like, oh no, now you have to. So that book turned out to be my first, I reimagined that book basically, and then wrote it. And that was my first book. And that was Running from a Rock Star. And I have seven books out. Well, seven of my own books. I've co-written two other books. So the book, The Summer That Changed Us, is actually my 10th book. And yeah, so I have a
Wow.
five-book Runaway Bride series and then a two-book, just small town sports rom-com. So
And those books are hilariously funny.
thank you.
And then you took a break because
Yeah,
stuff happened.
yeah,
And do you want to share
sure.
what led you into writing The
Yeah.
Summer That Changed Us?
Yeah. So my career was going along. Things were working out really well. And at the beginning of 2022, I have four sisters, and so number four, she had non-smokers lung cancer for 10 years, but it was incurable but manageable. So they um, because they had these great drugs that targeted just this cancer and they worked really well. Well, at the end of 2021, they um, ran out of these drugs. There were some in testing, but there were no, she had used all the ones that they had. So the way these drugs worked is you took one until it stopped working and then you took the next one and then you took it, and sometimes she was on them for 6 months and sometimes she was on them for 2 years. It just depended on how well the drug worked. So when they had found her cancer when she first was diagnosed, it was stage 4. So she went into 2022 with stage 4 lung cancer and no medication. Well, the writing was on the wall. And even if she and the rest of my family were not seeing it that way, I could, I knew that something was, things were not going well. And so that sort of began this preemptive anxiety, grieving sort of thing. And then in May, she had kind of a major incident and with these headaches and all of this stuff. And we were like, what's going on? Like, you know, they had found some tumors in her brain, but they had dealt with them with radiation. I mean, they were all gone. So they couldn't really figure out why, and we couldn't figure, we were like, we're so confused. And then in July of that year, they set her up with her radiologist to kind of come up with a plan because she still had one tiny, tiny little tumor, and so they thought, well, maybe that's it. But when she went in I mean, she thought she was going in for a treatment plan, and she went in that day, and they told her she had 6 to 12 weeks to live,
Ah,
and it was devastating to all of us. We're all very close. They all live in the same small town I grew up in. I live in Houston, but but I was there from May until she died in October of 2022. So, after something like that happens, you're not like, I knew I wasn't going to write like for a
right,
while. I
right.
knew like maybe even a year. I was willing to say, it could take a year for me
Hmm.
to come back from that. Besides the fact that I was her caregiver, I was there every day. It was my name. Yelled and screamed when she was in so much horrible pain. She had something called leptomeningeal disease, which basically means the cancer passed the blood-brain barrier, and it was in her cerebral fluid and her spinal fluid. And it's deadly. I mean, there's no cure. It's a monster. I mean, it's just terrible. And so it was traumatic, I mean, along with just being horribly sad, it was kind of traumatic. And I remember going to therapy afterwards, and the therapist saying, "Gosh, that's a lot of trauma." And I'm like, "Yes."
Oh my God.
But
You're like, hey, it's like you think.
yeah, exactly. So, um, but a year turned into 2 years, turned
Mhm.
into 3 years, and I still could not write. The only thing I had written up until April of last year was my sister's obituary. That was it.
Uh,
I could not write. I would think about starting a project and put a few words on the page, and it was just awful. And I had it's hard to write funny because I write rom-coms,
mhm.
sexy, spicy rom-coms, not super, super spicy, but they have spice in them. But it's hard to write that when you don't feel funny, when your heart is broken. And about a year and a half ago, our friend Janet Margot, I think you know who Janet is. Anyway, she suggested, because she and I were talking, and she had lost two people around the same time that Joni had died, and we were just talking about grief and all of this, and she was like, "Jamie, I think that you should put this all in a book. Like, I just feel like this story." Especially, middle-aged woman comes home to a small town Texas, her small town. She's got these sister relationships. One of them's dying. I just feel like that could be a great premise for a book. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, that sounds horrible. I write really slowly. And so, because of that, I knew that I would have to sit in that for a long time, but it wouldn't go away. Like, the idea wouldn't go away. And my biggest problem was I didn't know how I would tell the story. Like, whose point of view do you tell it from? I,
Right,
it felt disingenuous to tell it from the dying sister's point of view because I don't know what my sister necessarily was thinking. I know a lot of it, but not all of it.
right.
And then, um, do I tell it from all the sisters' point of view? That seemed like a lot. So I just couldn't figure it out. And one day I was driving home to my mom's house, and it just like the entire thing just came to me. Like, I knew exactly how I could tell the story. So on April 19th of 2025, I know this because it's the day I started my Adderall for my adult ADHD. Um, I sat down to write this book, and I wrote the first draft in 6 weeks. It's the fastest I've ever written a draft. And I call it the book that Adderall wrote. And but but um and the first draft was really just our story, kind of what happened. I mean, there was a tiny bit of fiction, I had the main character in there, but for the most part, everything was exactly what happened to us. And then I once I got it finished in June, at the beginning of June, and then in June I teach swimming lessons for a month. And let me tell you, I am exhausted by the time I get out of the pool, and so I knew I wasn't going to be able to write all of June. And so when I came back to it in July, I started kind of messing with it, like trying to pull, trying to decide how I could edit it. And so I wrote a second draft, which really for most people is like their first draft. Like I am a messy writer and I'm a real short writer. My first drafts are always really short. And so after the second draft, though, I sent it to a developmental editor to see what I had. Like, what is
Right,
this? Is
right.
this? I knew it wasn't romance, but I don't. I wasn't even sure it was women's fiction. I just didn't know. And
So,
she had,
Jamie,
yeah,
just to interrupt.
yeah.
For
Sorry.
those who don't, no, no. For those who don't know, can you tell what a
Oh yeah,
development
yeah.
editor
Um,
is?
some people call them story editors. They go in and they look at the whole story and they tell you, like, basically, do you have a story? Where
Right.
can you fix your story? Where are there holes? Where does there need to be? Her big thing was there needed to be more conflict.
Mhm.
And like she said, you talk about conflict between Hope and her father, but you don't really show that. And you talk about the conflict with her sisters, but we don't really see that on the page. And so, and I think that's because, the first draft was pretty much me writing about my family. So, you're a little bit careful about what you say about your family.
Right.
But I had to decide, I had to make a decision. I had to decide, am I going to tell this story honestly, or am I going to worry about other people's feelings? And
Mm.
I had the blessing of my family to write this story, and so I just decided to be honest. And I mean, the thing is that when I say honest, I mean honest in you're telling stories. Like a lot of the conflict in the story between Hope and her father are not conflicts that my dad and I have had. Some of them
Right.
are, but not all of them. And same with the sisters, but it is, if I was really going to tell this story, I needed to be honest in every aspect of human emotion, basically.
Right.
And so that's what I did. And
Which is, I have to say, the summer that changed us is such a perfect balance of laugh, cry, laugh.
yeah,
And so that it does tug on heartstrings, you all will do things that are going to go,
you're going to cry.
then you're you
Yeah,
then but then you are going to laugh just belly laugh. There were times I just laughed out loud and I'm
yeah,
just cackling.
yeah.
And so for everyone, tell them a little bit about the story, like
Okay.
what made it fun. Tell the summer that changed us.
Okay.
Tell
So the thing about the summer that changed us is that it's set in small town Texas. So come on, you're already, I mean, that's a crutch for anybody writing comedy. Come on. Um, but uh, it's about Hope, whose life has fallen. She's 50, and her life is completely blown up. She's lost her husband. I mean, he divorced her. And I mean, as it is in a lot of women's fiction books, she's lost her job, all of this stuff. And she's tried to be perfect. Like she just was the perfect sister. She has a PhD. She's done everything right, and yet everything fell apart. And so Hope is very self-deprecating, and while she is very serious about a lot of things, she does see that sometimes she takes herself too seriously. And then she comes home to this family that is loud, four sisters, their husbands, the mom and dad. Two of the sisters aren't married, and they fight over this one loser guy. It's something that's been going on for 30 years. And but I just there were so many when my sister was dying. There were so many funny moments because I mean that's just how we are. And my sister was hilarious. That I knew that's how I wanted to write it. Like again, being honest, but so she comes home. She thinks she's just there for a weekend. During the weekend, her sister has this event, this medical event, and it sort of starts things in motion. It makes her go, something is not right. Like this is not good. And Hope, as with me, this is true of me and Hope, is that I researched my sister's cancer. Like I knew the ins and outs. None of my family did. My sister didn't. She did not want to know. And because she didn't want to know, my family was like, we don't want to know either. So
Right.
I knew, but kept it to myself. Same with Hope. And my daughter did say the only thing her little critique was the only thing is it's hard for me to believe with the internet and everything that nobody searched it. And I was like, I just looked at her and I was like, that's exactly what happened. And she said, I know, but I worry that people will not know that. And I'm like, well, they can just
Oh
not know.
no, no. You can tell your daughter that actually happens a lot more
Yeah,
than you think.
yeah,
If people go down two roads. They either
hmm
go to Dr. Google,
yeah,
and and they know more than anybody on
hmm
anything than any
yeah,
doctor alive, or
yeah,
they go, yep, never mind, don't want to know, it's not
yeah,
really happening, and
right,
pretending otherwise. So
right.
I think, and I do believe that you covered that really well
Yeah,
in the
thank
book
you. Thank
and
you.
also made it funny. I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think that's what I want everyone to just understand, is how funny this book really is.
yeah,
That
yeah,
you're in for such a treat. Okay,
yeah.
go
Thanks.
ahead.
Well, so when Hope comes home, though, she has to deal with her dying sister, her sister relationships. She's a very, very difficult relationship with her dad. And then her ex-husband just keeps showing up. He won't go away. I mean, but he's been part of this family since they were 15 years old. And he and June, the sixth sister, are very, very close and have always been very, very close. So of course he's there, but he just will not leave her. He will not go away. And she really wishes he would, but he won't. But yeah, I mean, it's just a story about love and family, and it's a love letter I say this, it's a love letter to sisters and families and any woman who thought they had their life perfectly planned out and then they're forced to start over. And um, I think if you have people in your life that you love, you will love this book. If you have a family that you love, you'll love this book. And I just really, it was a very fine line to walk, though. A lot of the time, I would have to go, after I wrote the first draft and even the second draft, when I started really writing the third draft and digging into it, I had to kill a lot of darlings because
uh
it was just to serve the book and
mhm.
serve the story. Because also, several of the things, like in the book, the two sisters that have fought over the boyfriend, um, they get in a food fight at the local diner, and Hope has to go kind of step in. She thinks she can bring calmness and reason to the situation. She does not. But I had to really massage that chapter so that it did not seem slapstick and it seemed like something that would maybe really happen. And because you can only ask a reader to suspend belief
But
so much.
I actually, okay, so because I read a lot.
Yeah.
I remember that scene, and I was just laughing because I could see when they're like, no, no, don't stop it. We want to
Yeah.
see, we want to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah. The
Like,
townsfolk really want them to keep going. Yeah.
yeah, the townsfolk were like, wait, and to me that rang so true to people like, wait, no, there's good gossip. Don't stop. I want to hear the gossip
I
first
know.
before you stop it. Don't
Yeah.
let it go
Before you stop it. Yeah, exactly.
too,
Yeah. So that was really hard though, that to keep the humor, I guess, appropriate. I mean, for lack of a better word, but I also have used it to throw people a lifeline, like
Right.
because just when you think in the book you can't take any more, then something funny happens right up until the end. I mean, the end. there's no denying what happens,
Right.
but
It's
even
okay. It's not a spoiler alert.
no, it's not a
So,
spoiler. Yeah.
so she is going to die, and
Yeah.
it is handled with sensitivity and
Hmm.
with laughter,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also having lost a sibling. And one of the things I appreciated, that even in the midst of grief, there's always laughter. And I tell people that, like, if I know they're going through stuff, I said,
Right.
find the laughable moment,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
in that moment you may not have it, but
Mhm.
afterwards, find the laughable moment. There's going to
Yeah.
be a time that something happened during all of it that you will be
Right.
able to pull back on. And
Right.
the laughable moments that you keep drawing from, that you draw and you
Mhm.
write so well,
Thank you.
really give that perfect balance of laugh, cry, laugh. I'm telling you, folks, if you haven't read Jami Albright before, it's okay. Start with this one, and
Yeah.
you're just going to really enjoy it, because it is a beautiful story
Thank
told
you.
with heart, love, sisters, friendship, you
Yeah.
know, sisters dueling over a no count guy. I mean, what more
Yeah.
could you want? It is just so
Exactly.
much love, laughter, small town. It's all in there. And Jamie, it's a winner. One of the, before we, couple things before we go, I
Uh-huh.
know you described it as something with Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah, it's Steel Magnolias meets Schitt's Creek with the heart of This Is Us. So yeah, if you like stuff
All
like
right.
that, then you'll love
Steel
it. You'll love it.
Magnolias, Schitt's Creek, This
Yeah.
Is Us. There
Hmm.
you go.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I love to ask my author friends, what are you reading? And what book would you recommend?
Right now, I am not reading, but
Mhm.
just because I've had all of this going on, but I would definitely recommend. I love urban fantasy. So if anybody loves urban
Um,
fantasy,
yes.
I love the Kate Daniels series. It's finished. It's a complete series, so that's always a winner. My next read, though, is going to be, hang on, I have to look because Pam Kelly sent it to me today and I want to read it. Hang on. Sorry, folks. I'm just,
Yeah, and you know what? Because sometimes we get so many books thrown at us, and we're like, "I want to say this one," and then you're thinking of another one. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's like, okay, which one? As you're
It's,
trying to find. Yeah.
it is Pink Sand Summer.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. I heard she was talking about that. That's one
yes,
of the newest
by
ones out.
Chastity Evans. Yeah, it
Ah.
looks really great. And I, I really can see me going more that direction. Just,
Hmm.
you know, everybody asks, what are you writing next? Heck,
I was going to ask you
I
that.
never know. I never know.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
I do have an idea. Well, I didn't have an idea for anything while I was writing
Hmm.
this book, but about a month ago, or a couple of months ago, I guess, I got an idea for like a road trip women's fiction book
Hmm.
because I love a road trip. I mean, that's again, road trips are crutches for people who run comedy because something funny always happens. Um, but I think I'm gonna do that and try to do a multi-generational
Oh,
book.
cool.
Yeah, I really love this lane. I love
Yeah.
this sort of emotional yet funny um, family sort of relationship things that where you
Hmm.
can examine the relationships and stuff. So yeah,
Ooh, love, love,
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
And what is your favorite children's book?
Oh, Goodnight Moon, of course. Oh,
Uh,
and I Love You Forever.
I Love You Forever.
Yeah,
I
I
like
love you
it
forever.
all.
But I can only read it. I can't really read it. I cried too much, but I love that book. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Now, well, because I'm such a book person,
Yes.
if you could donate three books to a library forever, not your own,
Yeah.
what three books would you want to make sure the library had?
Mm, Outlander.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Outlander. Uh, My friend Sarah Rosette's 1920s books, The High Society. Uh,
Mhm.
she writes 1920s mysteries. Those books are so good. Every library should have them
Okay.
because they appeal to a lot of people. You know, they just appeal to a lot of people. And then what other book?
Hmm.
You know, it's always hard because
I know. I
I
know.
read so much that it's like
And then you're
hard to
like, which
narrow
one would
down.
you want? Well, if you think about it later, let us know. Would love to include it because it's always interesting, not only what people are reading, but like the books that inspire them, books that they definitely want people to
Yeah.
have.
Oh, I
Ja-
know.
Yeah,
I
go
know
ahead.
which one. My friend Claire Taylor's Jessica Christ books. They are
Okay.
very irreverent and they are
Okay.
very satirical. But I kind of think that every library needs a book like that. They need something to offset the sweet and wholesome with something
Yes.
very irreverent and a little sacrilegious. You know, I mean, you just never know. They're very well written and they're hilarious. And
All
so,
right.
yeah, yeah.
So, all right, real cool. So, Jamie, how can viewers find you? If they're looking for you, where do they find you?
JamiAlbright.com. It's Jami Albright.com. Oh, that reminds me, I've got to go in and change my website to say the book is now available. Oh, I haven't done that. That's the one thing I didn't do.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
God.
Yeah. And that's mostly there. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Jami Albright Author. So you can find me there. Yeah.
All
And
right.
I co-host a podcast every week called Wish I'd Known Them for Writers. And we talk about, it's a writer podcast. We talk to a lot of writers about what they wish they'd known before they started indie publishing.
And that, if you are a writer, it is one of the most fabulous podcasts to listen to on
Thanks. Yeah,
craft
we've been
and
doing it a
love
long time,
stories.
5 years. Yeah.
Yes, so definitely check that out. Wow, this has been such an incredible conversation, Jamie. I appreciate you taking time out of, the book just launched this week, and you're taking the time out to actually chat with me
Oh,
regarding your
well.
book. If you haven't read Jamie before, this is where you want to start. So what are you waiting for? Go and get the book. It's absolutely, absolutely fabulous. Check the links below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check us out. And we will be back till next time. Thank you so much. Bye, Jamie.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.